Learn how you can use JavaScript to make HTML in your web pages. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at how we can use JavaScript to make HTML in our web pages. And we're going to be using this JavaScript to make an HTML table in this example. So we are going to make a table and we are going to receive that table as a JSON and then display it in our code. So before we move on, I quickly want to point out that I am running a PHP server because this is actually a PHP file. You can see index.php, even though we are going to be adding JavaScript code in the script part. I'm currently using a PHP server in order to run this code. And the purpose of doing that is that I can as well run this as index.html, but there's an external file where we are going to be receiving that data from, which is also a PHP, and this is the reason why I need the server. I can see that this is localhost because I'm on Laravel. You can see my folder name and then my file. So this is the folder. This is the other file where we are going to be receiving data from. So you can see inside this file, I have a couple of PHP code. You can see the opening and closing PHP code. And inside it, you can see we have header, we have a variable, we have a variable, we have two other variables, and then we have an array to be used as a mock data. So let's just move on and then move back into the index file as we begin to work with what we have in this code. So let's come into our script tag section, and inside this script section, the first thing I want to do is I want to make a variable, and I want to call it db params, that is db parameters. And inside this db parameter, so I want to set it to json.stringify. So this is a method in JavaScript that will allow you to stringify your data in JavaScript. So currently we want to look at a customer table and we want to limit it to 20. And that is going to come from, do we have any customer table? So let's just assume we have that. Okay, inside our code. As we move on, we are going to see what I'm actually talking about. Now, then let's call our browser built-in method XML HTTP new XML request. So this is a browser built-in method to make an AJAX request. And then let's set up our onload to receive a function. And inside this function, we want to make a variable. Let's call it my obj and set up our JSON.pass method, which is going to pass whatever is received from the server. And now once we have this, let's add some style to our table. So let's make a variable and call it text. And here let's give our table a border of 1. Now, once we have this, now let's loop over what we have inside our table. You can actually represent the X by anything, but I'm just using X. So you can use anything. You can even use a name. Our text plus equal. So let's add our table data plus the index that is returned from our loop and the name. And then let's add another table and data. So now that we have this setup, so let's come under this and call our variable to be equals to a table, and the document.getID by element to be equals to text. So now that we have this, then let's go ahead and set up our Ajax process. So the first thing is open, and what we want to do in this case, so we want to set up an HTTP verb of post, and we want to add the location of where our file is, JSON underscore demo underscore HTML underscore PHP, which is this file that I have here. So I'm going to remove this true because I don't need it. So I can add it like this. And now I am done. Now I need to set a request header. That is what should be sent along with what I want to post. So I have the content that the application, that the URL should be encoded. And once I have this, then I can set up the send method as well. Whatever is gotten from X plus our GB parameter. Now, if I go ahead and refresh this, now, if you look at what we have now, you can see that all these names, they are coming from here. Alfred, Anna, Antonio, Arant, background. So now, if you look closely at what we have here, we are just trying to mimic how a file will be fetched from the server and then get displayed in our JavaScript code. So what we basically have here as demonstrates to us that we can actually use JavaScript to generate HTML in our code. So let's look at what we have done actually. So in this part of our code, XML HTTP.open, this post method, and this other part, which we are adding X plus DB param, we are actually using a post request in this part of our code. And then the data payload is packaged directly into the background HTTP message body, which is safer and cleaner for submitting configuration. So the post X, which is inside this file, if you look at here, catches the payload using its global post array. So this is a global post array in PHP. So what it does is that it decodes the text string back into a manageable object root system to figure out what data is needed. And like I said, in this index part, these are just styling for our table. So what you see here is what is contained inside this part. You can see let table is equal to table border one, and inside it we are looping to fetch what we have from this file into our HTML. So and the other part, which is this one, text, this table row and data my object x.name is the return from the for in loop. Once it iterates over the array elements returns by the server, in each rotation it will create a new table row and a data and a table data cell, injecting the customer name inside before wrapping it back up. So as soon as anything is fetched from the server, then it will put it in the table. Once it runs again, to put it into the table until it reaches the end of everything that we have in our file. So this is how you can use Ajax to make a request to a JSON file and dynamically generate HTML with your JavaScript.